welcome to Leaders of Tomorrow, the series that celebrates the entrepreneurial spirit of micro, small and medium enterprises. On Direct Connect, we take your queries across a range of subjects and try to help you improve your business. Whether it's finance, technology, marketing, HR, operations or any other business aspect, Direct Connect is here to assist you with expert advice. So let's welcome our experts on the show today who will share their knowledge and answer all your questions. Rajiv Karwal, Founder Director, Milagro Business and Knowledge Solutions, and NK Meni, former Deputy MD in charge at SIDBI. Welcome on board, gentlemen. All set to deep dive into today's questions?
Definitely.
Should we begin right away then? All right. Here's our first question of the day. Mithun Shah, proprietor, Aurum Enterprises, joins us on the phone line from Indore. Hi Mithun, please go ahead and ask your question.
We have just received import-export license in pharmaceutical products as well as food products. So we just want to enter in international market. How should I do?
Okay, here's someone who's got an import-export license for pharma as well as food products. How should he begin?
Both these sectors actually are designated sectors under the Make in India program. So the sectors have a lot of potential to grow. And the Make in India program incidentally also allows up to 100% FDI in any of the projects being set up. So depending on what he is intending to do, he could look at having joint ventures with the countries to which he intends to export or whatever and look for partners having the relevant strengths in those countries. In the food processing sector in particular, you know, there are a large number of incentives which are available to manufacturing units from the Ministry of Food Processing. And these include a subsidy of up to 50 lakhs in general areas and up to 75 lakhs in backward areas for setting up new manufacturing plants also. There's a subsidy of 15 or 20 lakhs again in these areas respectively for going in for ISO standards or the GMP good manufacturing practices standards, etc. In addition, the cold chain in the food processing, cold chain and all the related kind of projects are treated as infrastructure and qualify for priority sector status from the Reserve Bank of India guidelines also.
Okay, so that's a sector he could possibly explore if he's not already
Definitely. So he should look at setting up the manufacturing facilities. What are the specific products? I think that he will have to do his own market research on before really going into the specific marketing aspects.
Okay. All right, time for our next caller. MJ Purohit, MD of Axim Energy Conversion, is on the line from Hyderabad. Yes, Mr. Purohit, tell us your question, please.
Electric vehicle industry is in such a rapid growth, but there is no awareness in the financial market about it. We are facing difficulty in financing it. We are planning to expand our facility by 10 times, but unable to find suitable means of financing it. Can you please suggest us the right institution who would be interested in financing it through equity or debt? We are also looking for a technical tie-up with a German or Japanese company to upgrade our products to a higher level. Can the panel suggest us some organization who would help us in doing so?
Okay, electric vehicles is what he's into, and he's looking for finance for expansion of up to 10 times, and plus a JV partner perhaps from one of the developed nations. Rajiv, what are your suggestions?
You see, this kind of a manufacturing requires really path-breaking technology. You know, you have Tesla Motors, which is doing path-breaking work in this space in the world, and yet the commercialization has been fraught with a lot of hurdles, even for Tesla, although it is one of the highest valued companies across the globe. We had, Mr. Maini, who was doing the REVA, project for almost last 10 to 12, or maybe even more than that, and then they got acquired by Mahindra, so, which is a strategic investor in that company. And debt should not be very difficult to raise, in this space. The issue is that what exactly is he doing in his organization? Is it just that he's importing components, assembling them? Is it just that he's trading in this space? So if he's just trading, really, you know, it will be difficult to get financing.
Right.
If he's also just assembling and doesn't have really any patent or intellectual property, it will be difficult to, you know, get private equity also. So first he has to build his proposition for the financial market, because there are lots of growing areas today. So
Mr. Many, equity,
Taking off
debt.
from where Rajiv left off, I do feel that there is a tremendous potential in this industry in times to come. Particularly even the odd even formula in Delhi
Yes.
has shown that there is a demand for CNG cars as well as battery operated cars.
Right.
Having said that, you know, in the past the battery operated cars have faced certain kinds of problems in terms of maybe the distance they can cover on the battery, etc. And recharging the batteries, if you are stuck somewhere, how do you recharge? These are some of the issues which are today, I think, also which have today been resolved to some extent by replacing the traditional lead acid batteries by lithium ion batteries.
Yes.
So as he moves on, probably he will have to take into account all such factors and see that the car which they are planning to come out with, and maybe he's already out with something, because he said he wants to grow by 10 times.
By 10
so
times.
I'm presuming that there is already some existing
Absolutely.
facility which where the cars have been brought out also. He can look at for the funding, you know, in terms of equity, there are a couple of VC funds which do target
The electric vehicle category?
not only the electric vehicle but the renewable energy, the sustainable energy segment in particular.
Right.
One of these is the Infuse India Fund, which is based, which has been supported by the Center of Innovation and Excellence of IIM Ahmedabad. So
Okay.
he could look at them. And secondly, as long as he is a micro, small or medium enterprise, SIDBI again is an organization which is in the forefront of lending for
Right.
all energy related initiatives. So for the loan part, he could look at approaching
SIDBI as
SIDBI's energy efficiency wing.
All right. So I hope that answers your question, Mr. Purohit. Lots of options out there for you. Let's now get our first email of the day. KL Agarwal, Managing Director of Sri Shiva Spinning Mills, writes to us from Hyderabad. He says, due to a slowdown, small companies are unable to repay huge loans and many are getting sick due to high electricity tariffs. What should be our survival strategy?
Our advice to all such units in such situations is that you have to go in for lean manufacturing within your organization, improve the efficiency, and improve the efficiency of your working capital cycle in particular in terms of your, raw material, stock in process, and the number of days. If you are able to do that, you are able to bring down your costs, and your survival strategy is basically increasing your efficiency, going in for quality improvements on a continuous basis,
Right.
and taking care of your working capital cycle.
Okay, so lean manufacturing is one suggestion from Mr. Many. Next up, there's a query coming to us via Facebook. Vandana Dandekar asks, whenever multimedia content is created by an e-learning company, how is this asset valued and how does it impact valuation of the e-learning company? Rajiv, what would you have to say to Vandana?
You see, multimedia content today, whatever an e-learning company is creating, is just adding to, a ocean of content which already exists on the internet. And today, Google, searches it so well that you may feel that you are adding something which is, very huge jump over what is already available on the net. But it is not true, and there are various sites like SlideShare or Scribd or, people like that who are also, where also people are putting in presentations, and a lot of good material. So what is this e-learning company doing and what kind of content it is creating? Is it, again, intellectual property of theirs? Are they creating something which is very new, which is not available?
Right.
The valuation completely depends upon that.
All right. Mr. Many, any suggestions?
In fact,
from
nothing much to add beyond what Rajiv has said. I think it would depend on the uniqueness of the content. How niche is it really?
Okay.
If it's a niche area, then only you could look at higher valuations as and that is what they should concentrate on. Otherwise, there's too much general content today available for everyone.
Right. All right, Vandana, I hope that helps you. Carve out a niche for yourself if you haven't already, and that might help valuations go up for your content company.
Just add for her.
Sure.
shall I?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, it is, if suppose she's looking at India as the market, maybe she can look at creating content in the regional languages,
Right.
and that also, if
vernacular content is catching
vernacular
up these
content
days.
is catching up, and not much high quality is available in many languages, and there probably she can get good traction for her, preposition.
And again, just to continue on that theme, maybe, something in Braille for the blind and for the people with disabilities, if you can work on something like that.
Right. Interesting ideas out there for you, Vandana. I hope that helps you. Let's take a short break right here. Leaders of Tomorrow Direct Connect continues on the other side. Stay with us only on ET Now. Welcome back to Leaders of Tomorrow Direct Connect. It's that day of the week when our experts are solving all your queries. So let's connect with our next caller. Mrs. Rao, CMD of Sulakshana Circuits, joins us from Hyderabad. Hello, Mrs. Rao. How can we help you today?
We are a printed circuit board company. We came in 1990 from Canada and started this company because my husband always wanted to do something in India for India. We were able to help the telephone revolution quite well at that time. We were the only high-end PCB company at that time. After many years, we were also exporting. Almost 80%, we had a presidential award. But after that, we went down, down, down. Now with the Modi concept, I really want to bring the company up and also to be able to do all the PCBs in the world in India. We only produce not even half the PCBs required in India at this time. So I'm looking for some help, if it is possible, either as an investment or as a collaborator who will join me as a joint venture.
Okay, so here's someone who's seen ups and downs in the business, done pretty well at the time of the whole telephone revolution. PCB manufacturing, what's the way forward for her, Rajiv?
You see, if they want to enter into a joint venture or if they want investment to move forward, they have to actually lay down a very clear plan where they are in sync with the technology of tomorrow, and they are actually making the PCBs, or they should be wanting to make PCBs for the growing segments of the marketplace.
Right.
So they will have to get their plan right, and I'm sure, with their rich heritage or, good success which they've seen in the past, the future would be bright for them.
All right. And Mr. Many, any funding options that you'd like to suggest to her?
Yeah, but before that, I'd like to say this is definitely a company which was well ahead of its time in 1990
Yes.
and a forerunner in this particular industry. And if they have gone down, they need to really analyze the reasons as to what are the changes in the marketplace, what are the new products which have come, are there substitutes available, as Raj said, what exactly is happening in the market. And they could look at a JV with any a player abroad which could help them in related diversification, basically. Funding, provided there is a value proposition in the project and there is potential for whatever existing product is there and whatever new products they are going into, would be available from various sources like banks, from SEDBI and from the venture capital industry. And last but not least, the relevant Export Promotion Council, the Electronics and Software Export Promotion Council, I'm sure could help them in finding the right kind of partners also.
All right. Thanks, gentlemen. Mrs. Rao, I hope that answers your query. Next up, we have an email from Kanhaiya Lal B. Agarwal, MD of Palco Metals from Ahmedabad. He writes, MSMEs are facing a lot of unnecessary paperwork required by various government departments. Similar details are required by various agencies. Why can they not store all our information centrally with access available to different departments? Mr. Many.
It's a suggestion which we should actually forward to the, the committee which is looking at the ease of doing business. And perhaps the concerned industry chambers can take it up, and at our level, whenever we get an opportunity to address that committee, we would also place this suggestion before them. But ultimately, it's the government which would have to move on it, really.
All right. So your suggestion is going to be taken forward to the government, Mr. Agarwal. Till then, hold on, be patient and just carry on, I would say. Time for our next call. S.K. Lodha, Managing Director of Dynamic Elect Power, is with us from Bhilwara. Yes, Mr. Lodha, how can we help you today?
Director in an MSME company, I just want to ask the Prime Minister of the country that in your regime in these last 2 years, even the production and the sales of the core industries have reduced to 25%. How do you expect MSMEs to flourish? How do you expect MSME industries to grow?
Okay, question for the Prime Minister really on the show. But right now we don't have him. I have both of you here to answer that. So slowdown going on, lots of small units suffering. Rajiv, how does he cope with it?
Only advice which I can give to him is that he should keep his costs, which is the fixed costs, as low as possible. Right. And he should structure his company in such a way that the variable costs are high, which means that if the business goes up, the costs go up, and which means the business goes down, the costs go down. So he can outsource many of the jobs. Even the sales can be put on a commission agent basis, which is completely variable. And that way, I think his overall cost to revenue ratio or the expense to revenue ratio will be under control. So that's the only advice.
Mr. Meni?
I think more or less agreeing with what Rajiv said, the prolonged slowdown obviously to a large extent has caused such problems and such a situation for the MSMEs also. They do face the problem of delayed receivables also on this count. And in the circumstances, I think the government has taken a lot of initiatives. The Make in India program has come. The Startup India program is being announced. And there's so many other initiatives which are on the anvil. The infrastructure spending is expected to go up, which would obviously give a boost to the MSMEs in the country. Right. He should look out for the right opportunities as to where growth is coming and probably look at related diversification also in his own field.
All right. Thank you, gentlemen. Mr. Lodha, I hope that helps you. Here's our next query. This one's coming to us on Facebook. Subba Rao of Chola MS Risk says, ours is a leading company of environment and safety engineering consultants in India, employing more than 150 engineers. What strategic moves should SME consulting businesses adopt for expansion? How to attract good talent? And how to make the entire team feel passionate about the business goals? Lots of questions in there. How to attract the right talent and how to make the team feel passionate.
So he's into SME consulting.
Yes.
You see, SME consulting has lots of pros and cons. The first pro or the big benefit is that when you have an SME client, he depends upon you completely and sometimes leaves the entire decision making to you because they do not have the resources. But that also brings in a big con, that is that your organization may not have the entire expertise to provide solutions to this SME, who is saying, okay, now you are holding my hand, give me all the solutions.
Right.
And also, the SMEs are not great paymasters. So the revenue per SME is less, and the only way they can gain is when they also help their clients to implement what they are suggesting. And in that way, each SME client can be a long-term client. I think he should be able to get good resources if he ties up with many institutions where professors from educational institutions can come in, interns can come in, right. And they can do some basic work and then, take it forward for the people who are studying. The quality of, some of the institutes are very good.
Yeah.
They would be very happy to do this kind of a job because they're improving their CV. But I agree with him. I think it's a very big challenge to attract and retain good talent in an SME consulting.
And how does he make them passionate about his business goals?
See, as I understood, the consulting is in the area of environmental services,
Yes.
basically, environmental related services. So the people who are going to come into this kind of a service normally would be very passionate
About the
by
cause.
nature itself about the kind of work they are doing. There are organizations like TERI, which groom people in masters through a master's in sustainable development. He could look at picking up the professionals from there, as Rajiv has said, the interns from such institutions all could
Right.
come in. Secondly, he already has about 150 odd engineers on board also, he mentioned. So that's a very, very large number of staff which is already attached to the organization. If the right kind of assignments are coming their way, he could keep them motivated. And where does he source assignments? There are certain organizations today which are doing a lot of work with MSMEs in this area. SIDBI itself has a technology bank, Indian SME Technology Services Limited it's called, which is based in Delhi. And they register consultants in the field of environment. So he could closely work with the technology bank of SIDBI and perhaps look out for suitable assignments, which in turn would keep his entire team motivated also.
All right, stay passionate there and let that percolate down to your team. Next up, we have a caller, Shankar Mehdia, partner of Mehdia and Sons. He's calling us from Nagpur. Hi, Shankar, what's your question?
So what is the best option of financing for a new startup? Private equity or any other kind of equity is better or debt is better?
Okay, he doesn't mention what kind of a startup he's looking for, but what's the optimum debt equity ratio, so to speak?
No, even before we come to that question, actually, if it is at an idea stage, right, where even the proof of concept is missing, at that point in time, it has to be friends and family who has to fund it, or he has to fund it with his own money.
Yeah.
Once you have the proof of concept, then you can go in for early stage, investors who will bring in some equity, angel investors. There is India Angel Network. Those kind of people who work in this area. Then you reach the next stage. Then these people and mentors have sufficient amount of network. They would take you and advise you whether you have to go in for more equity, or whether you should dilute at this stage, or maybe if your business can support debt, then go in for debt. And because debt you can retire, and then later on, once you have achieved scale, then it is time for maybe further dilution of your equity. So again, very loose information. So this is the general answer which we can give to him.
All right. Shankar, start out with your savings and then take it as it comes. That's what says Rajiv Karwal. Well, that's a wrap on this edition of Leaders of Tomorrow Direct Connect. If you have any queries or need expert advice on any aspect of your business, you can feel free to get in touch with us. Just write to us on leadersoftomorrow@timesgroup.com or reach us using social media by putting in the hashtag LOT, or just call us on the number flashing on your screen. Thanks for joining us. Goodbye.